A person can understand every financial strategy covered in this channel: compound interest, credit scores, good debt versus bad debt, and still end every month having spent more than they intended. Not because the strategy was wrong, not because they lacked discipline, but because the part of the brain that makes spending decisions was never designed to make good financial choices in a world that was specifically engineered to extract money from it. 84% of Americans with monthly budgets admit to occasionally spending more than they planned. This is not a fringe statistic. It means the majority of people actively trying to manage their spending fail to stay within their own limits. The problem is not effort. The problem is that the psychological forces driving spending behavior operate below the level of conscious decision-making, and most people do not know those forces exist until they are reviewing a bank statement, wondering how it happened again. Standard economic theory assumes people are rational agents who make financial decisions by carefully weighing costs, benefits, and probabilities. Decades of psychological research tell a different story. Humans are profoundly irrational when it comes to money. We overspend on impulse, underestimate future costs, and make dramatically different choices depending on how options are framed. 6 specific psychological mechanisms explain most overspending. Understanding each one does not eliminate it, but it creates the gap between stimulus and response that makes a different choice possible. The first mechanism is the pain of paying, and how it gets turned off. Behavioral economists call the discomfort felt when parting with money the pain of paying. Cash makes that pain noticeable, but credit cards, mobile wallets, and saved payment details dull the discomfort, making it easier to spend without thinking. When spending feels frictionless, one tap, one click, a card that barely leaves the wallet, the psychological signal that normally slows down a purchasing decision is eliminated. This is not accidental. Every checkout flow, every one-click purchase option, every saved payment method is designed to reduce the pain of paying to as close to zero as possible. The easier it is to spend, the more people spend. The research on this is unambiguous. The practical implication? Adding friction to spending decisions, deleting saved payment methods, using cash for discretionary purchases, building a 24-hour rule before any unplanned purchase above a certain amount, reinstates the pain of paying and dramatically reduces impulse purchases. The second mechanism is mental accounting. According to Nobel laureate Richard Thaler's theory of mental accounting, people compartmentalize money into buckets: salary, bonuses, gifts, credit. This leads to irrational behavior. Someone might splurge a $60 gift card on luxury items while stressing over a $60 electricity bill, even though economically both are equal in value. The same amount of money feels fundamentally different depending on where it came from. A tax refund feels like free money, even though it was always earned income. A cash bonus feels easier to spend frivolously than a regular paycheck, even when the amounts are identical. Research confirms that consumers are more likely to spend windfall money, such as tax refunds, on impulsive purchases than on regular income, even when their financial situation does not warrant it. Understanding mental accounting means recognizing that a dollar is a dollar regardless of which mental bucket it arrived in, and that the urge to spend windfall income differently from regular income is a psychological bias, not a rational financial decision. The third mechanism is hyperbolic discounting, the reason the future never wins against the present. Hyperbolic discounting causes people to overspend in the present, even when they have long-term financial goals. The future feels abstract, so short-term gratification dominates. This explains why people choose a $25 meal today over $250 in long-term savings. The human brain is wired to value immediate rewards far more heavily than future rewards of objectively greater value. A reward available right now is perceived as dramatically more desirable than the same reward available in 6 months, even when the rational calculation clearly favors waiting. This is why knowing the math behind compound interest is not enough to make someone invest. The abstract future gain of $250 competes against the concrete present pleasure of the meal, and the present always feels more real. The antidote is not willpower, it is automation. Moving money to savings and investment accounts the moment income arrives, before the present bias brain decides what to do with it, removes the decision entirely. The choice happens once, when the rule is set up, rather than every month when the temptation to spend is live. The fourth mechanism is the scarcity principle and urgency triggers. Phrases like, "Hurry, this offer is only for a limited time," and "only 3 left in stock," invoke a powerful psychological response. When something is perceived as rare or limited, it is valued more highly. Scarcity triggers the fear of missing out, a loss aversion response that evolved for survival contexts where missing a limited resource had real consequences. In a modern retail environment, the same response gets activated by artificial scarcity manufactured specifically to override rational decision-making. Flash sales, countdown timers, limited edition releases, and exclusive access offers are all engineered applications of the scarcity principle, not reflections of genuine resource limitations, but deliberate psychological pressure designed to accelerate purchasing decisions before rational analysis can slow them down. A 2026 study shows that impulse spending driven by emotional stress has increased 18% year over year, with younger consumers particularly vulnerable to digital shopping platforms designed to exploit psychological vulnerabilities. The fifth mechanism is social comparison and the cost of keeping up. Research on expenditure cascades shows that rising consumption at the top of the income distribution creates reference pressure throughout the income spectrum, compelling people to spend more than they can afford. The social proof heuristic suggests that when peers are dining out every weekend or constantly upgrading gadgets, there is pressure to keep up. This morphs into lifestyle inflation. As income grows, so do expenses, not necessarily needs. Social media amplifies this phenomenon, especially among younger adults. The comparison is invisible but constant. The lifestyle visible on social media represents a curated highlight reel of consumption, not the debt, the credit card balances, or the financial stress behind it. Spending in response to social comparison means spending to maintain a perception, not to meet a genuine personal need. And it is one of the most reliable mechanisms for keeping income growth from ever translating into wealth accumulation. The sixth mechanism is emotional spending, purchasing as mood regulation. Spending often acts as a short-term emotional regulator. When people feel stressed, overwhelmed, under-rewarded, lonely, bored, or mentally exhausted, purchases can offer a brief sense of control, comfort, or pleasure. Many people turn to shopping as a way to cope with emotions such as stress, sadness, boredom, or even happiness. This phenomenon is driven by the brain's reward system. A purchase triggers a dopamine response, the same neurological pathway activated by food, social connection, and achievement. The relief is real but short-lived, and the financial cost remains after the emotional effect fades. Identifying the emotional triggers that precede unplanned spending. Stress at work, loneliness, boredom on a Tuesday evening is the starting point for interrupting the pattern. The purchase is not the problem. The emotion driving it is the real signal, and spending money is simply the response the brain learned to use. Overspending is about behavior, not salary. High earners can still struggle financially if spending rises alongside income or if financial visibility is poor. The first step is usually awareness, reviewing recent transactions, identifying patterns, and looking for emotional or situational triggers behind the spending. None of the 6 mechanisms described are character flaws. They are predictable, documented responses to specific stimuli that the modern retail and digital environment delivers constantly and deliberately. The person who overspends, despite wanting not to, is not failing through lack of willpower. They are responding to psychological architecture engineered to produce exactly that result. The strategies that work are structural, not motivational. automating savings before spending decisions happen, adding friction to impulsive purchases, recognizing urgency as manufactured, auditing spending for emotional triggers rather than treating every purchase as a rational decision. Understanding why the brain spends the way it does is the prerequisite, because no financial strategy survives repeated contact with psychological forces it was never designed to account for. Drop a comment with the spending trigger that is hardest to resist. The next video covers the specific structural changes that interrupt each of the 6 mechanisms without requiring willpower or constant self-monitoring.